Hello, everyone. Welcome. Jen Gilchrist here. I am so excited that we're already on day 5. It feels like this went so fast. I just want to thank you all, those of you that have been participating in the group. Even if you haven't quite finished the challenge yet, I just want to thank you for showing up, right? And know that you can continue to catch up if you need to. I know a lot of people are like, I'm behind. It's like there's no behind. You're totally fine. Just keep on showing up. That's the important thing. Say hi as you're jumping on. Hi, Jamie. Hey, Susan. Thanks for jumping in. So today I'm going to share with you 3 C's to how to not sabotage your success, or actually 3 C's to success, right? So that you don't sabotage yourself and you can keep on moving forward. So of course, I do believe that part of the essential pieces of this does hinge on really being aligned. So the first piece is the beginning of this challenge of just aligning with the truth of who you are, connecting deeply with that why, and taking action from that soul-inspired place is essential. Hey, Michelle, thanks for joining. Say hi. And so that is, of course, pieces that are the essential foundation to success. But then sometimes once we start going along, we realize one of the questions I'd asked to my group was, what is something that you struggle with when it comes to manifesting or creating the life or the business that you desire? And one of the things was, how to not sabotage your success, how to keep moving forward. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So let me know if you can relate to that. If you've ever kind of been going along and then you spin around in circles, whether it comes, the fear manifests through procrastination, through overwhelm, through feeling, really excited, and then all of a sudden not finding yourself where you want to be 6 months down the road. Hey, Janelle, thanks for jumping on. It's beautiful. And so I have 3 C's to success that I like to say that all really work well together that'll kind of keep you moving forward, right? It's definitely a journey. Sometimes, it's a little tumultuous, but the more tools that you have that you start being able to use in your toolbox, then these things can definitely support you in keeping moving forward. So the first C is commitment, okay? Take a deep breath into that one. Set the commitment, right? Stay committed to yourself and your big vision. It's almost like you have to just pinky swear with your soul and say, you know what? I know that this isn't always going to be easy. I know this path of the spiritual entrepreneur and purpose work is not for the faint of heart, and yet I'm committing to myself and this purpose and this process, right? I know for me, this really finally clicked in when I've been trying for years, and I felt very much like what I'm doing, and I'm showing up, and I'm not getting results. I'm getting only, a couple people in my meetup groups. Like, it's just not expanding, angels. I'm doing it. What's, help me. I'm trying. I'm doing my part. That's how I felt. But yeah, I had so much visibility fears and so many other things that I did not realize that I was actually kind of sabotaging my success in a sense. And it really, really came to that point where I knew I had to place my stake in the ground. Some of you that were on my call on the masterclass yesterday heard my story of where it was like, oh my gosh, coming out of the spiritual closet and being visible, that pain of just spinning my wheels and not actually getting my purpose out into the world, right? That lack of fulfillment was actually bigger than my fear of public speaking. So I staked that claim and commitment to myself. And I really feel like the pivoting point was when I staked the claim and invested in myself and in my business in a big way, right? And it was when that point comes, I feel like when our awareness begins to open up, we can't go backwards, right? We might spin around for a period of time, but our soul is longing to be expressed. It's longing to share its gifts. It's longing to be seen, heard, and validated for the truth of who you are. And all of you here most of you at least, want to have a business that expresses that extension of the truth of who you are, right? And that at its core is our purpose, and all of that's going to look different for everyone. So let me know if you can relate to that. And I think it's a constant journey, but this literally of just really being committed to, I'm going to stay committed as long as it takes. Like, this isn't something that, okay, a wham bam, thank you, man, I want to hurry up and get to 10K, and if I don't get to 10K by the end of the year, then I quit. It's like, wait a second, this is just a commitment to the long haul, a commitment between yourself and your body and your spirit and your body, right? Your higher self, the truth of who you are, and your physical body, personality self, to just say, I'm in this, I'm all in. And it's in that moment that we can start to surrender and let go of the how, and just knowing that, you know what, I'm just going to celebrate my successes along the way. I'm just going to keep tuning into what feels good. I'm just going to keep showing up, right? And that is the biggest thing that you can do, is that commitment to yourself and this process. Hey, Janelle, such an empowering message. Oh, thanks, love. And Norma Jean, good day to you too. And Susan says she can relate. So totally, I think we all can. We're all going to have days. But when we know that, just because something doesn't work out the way we wanted, or we didn't get the numbers in a launch, every successful entrepreneur that I know has failed several times, quote unquote failed, right? It's not really a failure. There's always just ways to learn and to look at what worked, what didn't, what did I like, what did I not like, how can I adjust this, right? How can I keep moving forward? But that commitment says, okay, so this didn't work. I'm going to assess the situation, take this as information, and can keep moving on. I'm going to congratulate myself for a job well done, because every time you take a step and commitment to your work, you are creating energetic tracks, and it just takes some time sometimes, right? And sometimes we want that instant manifestation. And so that commitment is the first C. The second C is consistency. So these kind of go in alignment together, right? The consistency. This is one of the biggest places where I see entrepreneurs really struggling, especially when they're new in their coaching business, is the consistency to show up consistently in inspired and aligned action, right? And so while I'm a massive advocate of the morning routine, or just journaling and meditating and really tuning into self and creating from that place, of course, we do have to take the outward tangible action. We do have to take the action. And this is where sometimes I see the hiccups get going, or people getting stuck. A way fear can manifest is getting stuck into busy work, or journaling, meditating, and not quite actually getting out there, not pressing live on the video, not making that deep commitment through the consistency of showing up and sharing your message to your people, right? Norma says it's a lesson. Exactly. It's just our way of like saying that, okay, we have some more growth here. What is it that I can learn from the situation? Where is it that I'm still hiding? If we really own the truth that we are conscious, that we are powerful creators, creating every experience, right? Say hello, say yes in the comment below, or drop a 1 if you were in yesterday's masterclass or you listened to the replay. We hit on this a lot, right? This is an important idea that we have to just accept where we are. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but ultimately that masterclass, if you haven't watched it, has a lot of really juicy nuggets of information. And it's important for us to really just continue to show up exactly where we're at, and know that everything that's going on, if we are the powerful creators of our experience, which we are 100% of the time, which sometimes is hard to swallow when we're not having the outward experience that we want. But it's an opportunity to get curious. It's an opportunity for our soul's growth. It's a place where we are still lighting up within ourselves that we are creating through some level of fear or a lie or a programming or a belief somewhere along the way. So that is an important piece of it. Commitment and consistency, taking that consistent action with showing up in the world and sharing your gifts and sharing your voice, right? That is becoming, magnetic marketing in a sense, right? I teach that in my Soul Inspired Leaders Mastermind. I mean, this program that I'm talking about now will too, but just seriously applying that in your messaging, in your marketing is really important, right? That's part of marketing, as I feel as a purpose-driven entrepreneur, is just seriously showing up authentically. Kellyanne says, I finally got to see a video. Really wanted to have a go at it this time, but so much stuff got in the way for real. Was glad to at least catch you here. It's perfect, right? Maybe this is the first message to start with. I'm going to definitely package this and make it available for you guys, because everyone has stuff happen at times, right? It's hard to keep up at a certain pace day to day sometimes. So no worries. Feel free to continue sharing in the group over the next few days. I would highly recommend the webinar yesterday. It was really powerful. We did a whole 60 minutes. I emailed that to everyone on the list. Janelle says, once we are in awareness, it becomes a choice at each moment. And we are, as you said yesterday, left to our own path. It is in itself a huge fear that we need to overcome. So true. Michelle, get curious. Love that. Exactly. It's like, how can I get curious about what, how can I align to my next path? I'm curious. Why would I create this? You guys, I have created so many things. I'm just like, I don't know why I created this, but I'd really like to know. Can you help me out? Sometimes you just got to sit with the uncomfortableness of it and really surrender. When things are intense, surrender, and a lot of it's the letting go of the old, right? It's a lot of it's shedding the old. I literally had a plan to move with my daughter to Hawaii. We worked on it all year together. It was exciting for many reasons. I'm going to make this very brief. Maybe I'll go into it further at another time. But I ended up selling my house, selling a 3-bedroom home, my own home with my daughter that we had, just the two of us for 10 years. We were going to move together, which had lots of hope for us, just excitement when she was 20. Sold all of my belongings down to a 7x10 storage, and I had a 3-bedroom home, 2-bedroom garage, a garden, a spa, like the whole thing just shrunk down. And then 6 weeks out, my daughter changed her mind. She fell in love with somebody and she didn't want to go. And all of a sudden it was just, and I will admit for about 10 minutes, I was like, what? Like I don't have any. And then I'm like, okay, but what the heck did I create this for? And I really had to just breathe it out and not blame her and actually honor her for her having the courage to tell me that, because that was how she felt and her truth. And, it wouldn't be good for me to guilt her into going anyways, but I certainly didn't want to go by myself, right? That was our adventure together. That was a huge time. And I tell you, I had to hunker down into massive surrender of like, what in the heck did I just do? Like, why did I create? What am I doing? Right? And this is just one of a million things. I tend to like go big into like my growth periods. And you know what? It worked out. It worked out great. What I wanted, what Hawaii represented to me, when I surrendered and I just let go and I let the shedding happen, all of that served such a massive purpose, and I was able to see it very quickly because I was far enough along my path that I just let go and I'm like, I just want to get curious about what opportunity is this presenting to me? Why did I create this? I know I'm an equal party in this, right? I'm 100% responsible. And the answers came and the miracles happened, and what Hawaii represented freedom, it represented healing between my daughter and I on a deeper level, it represented me jumping into my purpose work, and all of those things came through that probably wouldn't have happened if I didn't somehow, right? And it sounds crazy, but honestly, we have to go through some shit sometimes, right? And if we can just get curious and surrender, the answers will come, and we keep ourselves apart from the truth and the answers and the action steps when we are in massive resistance to accepting what is, or even burying our head in the sand, right? Which is what happens with our money story a lot. We don't want to look at the debt. We don't want to look at the bills. We just kind of keep on going and ignore it. And that doesn't work either, right? That's denial, which is actually a really deep form. It's actually better to get a little angry and upset, right? Then at least we're connected to the feelings. But again, we've all done this in different levels all the time. So that was a side note. I hope that was helpful for anybody, but it was intense shit. I know. I mean, I was freaking out. Trust me, I was totally freaking out. Yeah. All right. But we got through it. So the last one, so the 3 C's so far, is community. Okay. So it's so important to surround yourself with community, right? With community that gets you, that understands you, that can hold you, right? Whether it's community of friends, of other entrepreneurs, in networking mastermind groups, as well as mentors that can hold that space for you and that vision for you when you go through these times, right? That can actually help you, when somebody's holding that space for you and believes in the truth that you are a powerful creator, you can create what you want. And they may have compassion and empathy for what you're going through as a human, because let's face it, it can be intense and emotions are real. And that's, part of our life here. At the same time, not seeing you as victimized and powerless, right? But actually holding that space for, what? I know this is, might be hard right now, but I'm still holding you in this truth that you are a powerful creator, and that there's always a way to align to that higher path, and just got to allow yourself to tune in and take that one-on-one, that consistent step one day at a time. And having community that can hold that space for you, and having coaches and having mentors is I feel essential. It's very isolating sometimes. Most of the world isn't always getting it. Now, depending on how far along you are in your path, personally, and what your own, everybody's different on this, right? But for the most part, our family, a majority of our families and people around us in the world don't understand this aspect, right? Or don't have this conscious awareness, particularly per se. And they might kind of shrug into their fears about, oh, that's risky. You don't want to do that. Like that's, it's kind of like, they don't believe in you in the way that you actually can believe in you, in the way that other conscious creators that are aware of this truth can believe in you, right? And so we have to have that reflection is so important. Just checking if I have any other things. And so within that, it's also about coming in and being willing to ask for help, right? Just seeing that, being in a space and sharing vulnerably things that are going on for us takes courage. It takes courage. And that is probably a huge first step in being able to surrender and take the charge off the resistance or the fear or the denial that's actually going to keep you away from that which you want to create, right? And so it was great yesterday in the call. I shared a story about Pele, the volcano goddess. I love Pele. I go on these retreats to Hawaii for several years, and she really showed me, get the whole story in that. I know a lot of you saw it, so I don't want to repeat it all, but essentially that the destruction is the first step in the creation process, the letting go, the car accident, the dark night of the soul, the suddenly having nowhere to live and nothing, for me at that moment, right? Or my car accident or whatever it was. So I've had a few of them in my life that were kind of intense. And it's just knowing that as soon as we let go of that, then we can start to open up and asking for support, asking for, I love working with my spiritual support team and my angels because they really support me and seeing those next online steps to actually take. So just notice with yourself, another thing is that's a form of receiving. So sharing and asking for help and being honest with where you are with trusted people who can hold that space for you is very powerful healing, right? I know some of you have been vulnerable and authentic in your shares in the group with what's going on, and I just want to commend you for that because that takes courage, and that's the first step of really taking the charge off. So yay for you. And it releases a lot of shame, the shame and those feelings of like judging ourselves. Those are the things that we want to get to the root of that hold us back. Janelle says, yes, often we have to find our bottom before we can rise into our divinity. For sure, and it might happen a few times, right? But the cool thing is the more that we travel this path, the more people that we are, attracting and surrounding into our experience, the more we're willing to ask for help, the more that we do the inner work and the more tools that we have to move through. It's not like it takes you, like for me in the first half of my life, it was like crash down. I was like down for days and then you come up, right? Instead, it's kind of like rolling hills. You learn how to navigate through these big things very quickly, and people are going to be like, oh my gosh, you're like the rising phoenix. I've had so many people tell me that. It's like, how do you always land on your feet? Like they're shocked kind of by my life. If any of you know human design, I have the shock channel, which is like, I tend to create spiritual growth through shock. And not only for me, but for others. And that creates awareness and growth for the people around me as well as myself. It's just part of who I am. And so I kind of had this tumultuous journey, but people are always amazed and inspired. It demystifies and debunks the truth that you can't come out of anything, right? And I know a lot of you have had this, intensities too. Most of us as spiritual purpose-driven people have, right? Susan says you are sitting in the angel seat in my bed boardroom. That's awesome. I love that. Norma says shedding and discerning is difficult, and I tend to be independent and asking for help. This is a learning curve too. It really, really is, and myself included. Janelle says because you trust and believe. Love that. Yes, this is a true thing. And so what I teach a lot is around working with your spiritual support team. For those of you that were on the call, I mentioned that an open enrollment for my Manifesting Miracles and Money program. And part of what I teach in that program is really as we do an angel attunement. I work with, in this program, I work with 8 specific archangels, the abundance archangels, and learning to open up to receive that spiritual support and your intuition is actually a healing. It's not giving up our power too, because we do always have the answers right here, right? We are divinity, we are God, we are our own unique spark. But when our body and our personality is in massive fear or stuck, it's so far from that vibration of truth and love that it's hard for us to bridge back. And so working with the angels can help buoy that space for you. It's almost like your own coaching team that can help to align and hold that space for you to get you back into alignment throughout the day so that you can be in your power and manifesting more quickly, right? Because we have to have our energy right here in the present, surrendered and open, to be able to really attract what we want to create. We're attracting and creating all the time, but this helps us stay in alignment with receiving help, receiving guidance, receiving love, all of those feminine aspects. And so whether you're asking for support between, the physical realm, which is important as humans, we are here and we want to have human connection, right? That's a huge part of it. And so surrounding yourself in the communities of people who can hold that space for you to work the energy together is a very, very, very powerful container to help you make your life much easier, right? And it really is a form of receiving. So the 3 C's: commitment, consistency, and community. And so I'd love for today to sit with this awareness of, where are you saying no to yourself? This is just an exercise in receiving. How can you start to say yes to yourself instead, right? Sometimes it can be sneaky. And so just notice if you're paying attention, and also the second thing is pay attention if you're making your decisions out of fear or if you're making your decisions out of alignment. And this is another thing that really took a while to learn and to discern, and sometimes you still have to sit with, but learning the difference between what trusting yourself, your body, your intuition, and your support, your whole path and the process of being fully supported always, right? Creating what you actually want. To be able to discern the difference of being able to take a leap of faith, because every time you step into a new investment or a new level or a new stretch of visibility or speaking on bigger stages or whatever it is that you see, right? Whenever you take a step towards that, doing videos, if you're not used to doing videos yet, that was huge, huge visibility growth for me. I had to address a lot. it's like you have to really move through those fears. So knowing the difference of moving through your comfort zone, because your miracles and your purpose is always on the other side of that fear of your ego's mind and your comfort zone, right? The fear is going to get triggered and tell you all the reasons why, and sometimes our friends might tell us all the reasons why that's scary and we shouldn't do it, right? And so we just need to be able to take steps through it. As soon as we step through it, that starts to dissipate, right? And we're going to be constantly stretching our comfort zones on this path. So we have to be able to really be honest with ourselves and find the courage and the confidence and belief in ourselves in the process, to trust the process and ourselves, to to be able to tune into our intuition enough to take the guided action, even when it's scary, because I promise you, that's the fast track to success. And I see a lot of people who are very talented that keep themselves stuck because they haven't been willing to move through that, right? They're making the decision out of fear, not having enough money, or, feeling like they have to do, don't have enough time because they're, have busy schedules, which all of those things I totally get, because it feels very real, and it is real, right? It's what's been created, but it's not how we have to make our future choices from. We get to make our future choices from alignment or fear, and we always are every single step of every day. And so really, really tuning into how are you making your choices? As you're making a choices based on fear or based on alignment, both can feel scary. Both will often feel scary, but one of them will have an inner, when you really get honest, will have an inner pull towards that, and you can start to, if you investigate, what are you actually feeling, you'll be able to discern the difference. Are you just afraid? Do you really trust yourself enough to follow through on, investing in this commitment? I know that can be very scary. I ended up making a $22,000 business investment when I didn't even have my work in the bank, because I felt such an inner yes, and I knew that if I didn't leap in alignment to learn how to do the speaking and the marketing and all the techie logical stuff around having an online business that I didn't know, I was just going to be prolonging my fears and the pain, and that's when the pain really set in. And it's like, oh my God, I know if I am fully supported, if I jump in alignment with my purpose, as long as I believe it and I trust myself. And really, when I got underneath the fear, I was afraid, but I'm so scared of public speaking. What if I invest this money and then I don't show up and I don't do it, and I'm not willing to face standing in front of people? And then I paid all this money. And so it's kind of I had to really oh my gosh, talk myself off the ledge a few times, but I did it. And then it was exponentially a fast growth because I was willing to commit there, right? And we can't expect our clients to commit if we're not willing to commit and believe in the coaching as well. So anyways, there's so much around that, but just notice where are you making your decisions from? Fear or love, fear or alignment, right? And where are you saying no to yourself, and how can you say yes? And it can be as simple as accepting a compliment without deflecting or immediately giving it back. It can be as simple as saying yes to having someone take your groceries out for you, right? That's a good one, because a lot of us will feel this oh my gosh, people think I'm lazy and I can do it myself, and blah, blah, blah. But it's just the act of saying yes and letting somebody do something for you, even small, will really start to shift the energy. So I'm excited to hear in the group. You guys have until I'm going to do the call tonight at 5 o'clock. For our closing circle. I'm going to do a chakra meditation. The chakras were coming up in the readings. I did readings in the group, live readings last night, if you were there. And chakras balancing was coming up. So we're going to do a celebration call. For those of you that are playing the challenge, I'm going to tally up all of the shares on the videos, the comments, and things like that, and pull some names to win some prizes at 5 o'clock, and we'll do a chakra clearing as well. And I'll also be there to answer any questions about the program. If you have any questions, I've already been receiving messages, and we have some great people jumping in. There are still bonus time with the one-on-one available. That's limited through tomorrow night. So if you haven't checked it out, I encourage you to check it out, because right now, with all of the bonus one-on-ones that are available, literally that's less than my one-on-one private client coaching. It's almost like every single program aspect comes for free with the one-on-one work, because the value that I'm charging is the price of just the one-on-one for some of those upgraded levels. So you want to check that out and ask me any questions, and get your stuff in the group. I don't see anything else. I think that's it. I just want to say thank you. Thank you all for joining me, for showing up in the world with your gifts, for sharing your light with the world, and your commitment to really being a light shower and a way shower and an amazing leader, because you all are. And it's been my honor that you have trusted me to invest your time with me as well. So thank you very much. Janelle says, love you. Thank you. Love is always phenomenal. Awesome. Beautiful. I love you too, my sister. All right, guys. Well, have a wonderful day, and we'll talk again soon. Tonight, actually, in the group. We're going to do that in the group at 5 o'clock Pacific time. Bye.